कितनी बार आपने ये सुना है कि घी बंद कर दो आपकी आर्टरीज ब्लॉक हो जाएगी? I hear this every single week in my OPD. And as a vascular surgeon who has literally operated on thousands of blocked arteries, opened them, repaired them, bypassed them, or done an angioplasty, I need to tell you something. Ghee is not the villain that some doctors or your relatives have made it out to be. And that refined oil bottle with heart healthy written on it might not be the hero either. The actual culprit clogging your arteries, and I'll show you exactly what it is in the next 8 minutes, is something that most people in India are completely ignoring. Let me start with something that genuinely puzzled me as a young surgeon 20 years ago. हमारे दादा नानी की जनरेशन रोज घी खाते थे, दाल में घी, रोटी पे घी, राइस में भी घी, no apology, no measuring spoon, just ghee, and many of them lived well into their 80s. Now look at India today. We have largely replaced that Desi ghee with refined oils, sunflower, soybean, refined vegetable oil, heart healthy on all labels, and many doctors have been recommending it for decades. And yet India now has the highest number of diabetics in the world. Heart disease, deaths are rising. Young Indians, 40, 50 years old, are having massive strokes and leg attack. कहीं पर कुछ तो मिस हो रहा है. Something is being missed here. And that something is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. And before we debate ghee versus oil, you need to understand how arteries actually block, because most people get this completely wrong. We imagine arteries like water pipes. Fat goes in, sticks to the wall, pipe gets narrow. Is it that simple? No, that's not what is happening. Not even close to that. An artery is a living tissue. It has cells, it has endothelium. It also responds to its environment. Plaque does not stick to a healthy artery wall. It forms when the inner lining called the endothelium gets damaged and inflamed first. Think of your artery wall like very fresh, smooth skin, intact, protected. Now imagine that you are rubbing a sandpaper on that surface every single day for 10 years. So slowly the surface breaks down, gets rough, tiny cracks start to form. That is when cholesterol, calcium, inflammatory cells, वो सब वहाँ पर collect होके plaque बनाते हैं. So plaque forms when the endothelium is damaged and inflammation has come. So the question is, what is acting as that sandpaper for your arteries? And I promise you, it's not those 2 teaspoons of ghee. But, and this is the part that nobody explains properly, not all LDL particles are equally dangerous. It's the small, dense, oxidized LDL that actually penetrates the damaged artery walls and forms plaque. Large, buoyant LDL is far less threatening. So the saturated fat in ghee tends to raise the large, buoyant type of LDL, which is the less dangerous one. But does that mean that you can eat unlimited ghee? Of course not. Quantity and context always matter in medicine. But a person who is metabolically healthy, normal blood sugar, normal blood pressure, not smoking, physically active, and using 2 to 3 spoons of good quality ghee every day, their vascular risk from ghee is genuinely low. Now compare that with someone who has uncontrolled diabetes. He is eating supposedly heart healthy refined oil with white rice, maida, and also has 3 cups of sugar loaded chai daily. Who has higher vascular risk? The answer is obvious once you see it. The metabolic environment in which fat is consumed matters far more than which fat you choose. Many large cardiovascular trials and pooled analysis have consistently shown that replacing saturated fats with moderate amount of polyunsaturated fats can also lower LDL cholesterol levels and reduce the coronary heart disease risk. Many of the large cardiovascular trials have also shown that if one replaces the saturated fat with moderate amounts of polyunsaturated fats or PUFA, they can lower their cholesterol levels and reduce the coronary heart disease risk. Now let me tell you about a patient I saw last year. 47 years old, he had severe blockages in his leg artery, severe enough that he could not even walk for 100 meters. And he had given up ghee completely 10 years ago. according to his doctor's instruction, and he had entirely switched to refined sunflower oil. In those 10 years, his blood sugar silently kept increasing into the diabetic level, his triglycerides went up, his waistline expanded, and his arterial disease progressed aggressively. When I asked about his diet, he said, "I don't have any ghee, then why are my arteries getting blocked?" And this is a question which I often encounter in my OPD on a daily basis. On further question, I even got to know that although he was eating no ghee, he was eating packaged namkeens, he was eating maida products, white bread, because he thought fat-free means safe. And this is the problem. He was given the wrong enemy to fight for all the years. His ghee was not the only problem, but his uncontrolled sugar, his insulin resistance, his chronic inflammation, they were the key enemies. And now I want to be completely clear. This is not a pro-ghee propaganda video. I am not here to make refined oil the villain. And these are two very specific problems with refined oils that don't get nearly enough attention in our country. The first is oxidation. Remember, any refined oil, it may be sunflower, soybean, corn oil, they are all high in omega-6 fatty acids. And when you heat these oils to the temperatures we require for Indian cooking, it may be high heat tadka or repeated deep frying, reheated oil, these oils undergo what is called as oxidation. And they generate compounds which are called as aldehydes and free radicals. These oxidized compounds are directly pro-inflammatory. They attack your endothelium, the same arterial lining that is the protective one. And this acts like sandpaper on your artery walls. And problem number 2 with these oils is the omega imbalance. Our bodies need omega-6 and omega-3 in a healthy ratio, roughly around 4:1. But most Indians eating primarily refined vegetable oils have ratios of 15:1 or even 20:1. And this chronic imbalance creates a state of silent, persistent inflammation throughout the body, throughout the year. And inflammation, sometimes it's quiet and invisible but relentless. It's a critical driver of the very atherosclerosis we are trying to protect. So the uncomfortable truth is, swapping Desi ghee for large quantities of repeatedly heated refined oil while keeping everything else the same is likely to be making your arteries worse, not better. So here's something specifically important for anyone watching from India. In the 70s and 80s, nutrition research recommended replacing saturated fats with polyunsaturated fats to reduce heart disease. And that research did have some merit. But actually what happened in our homes? We reduced the ghee and butter, but replaced it with what? Not olive oil, not almonds, not omega-3 rich foods, but we replaced it with more maida, more white rice, more packaged biscuits, more namkeens, because they were all considered to be fat-free. Even mithai that we add, even the mithai that we have regularly are made up of vanaspati ghee or refined oil instead of ghee. So we are adding more sugar, considering that it is less harmful than fat. But research now clearly shows that if you replace saturated fat with refined carbohydrates, it does not reduce your cardiovascular risk. In fact, it increases triglyceride levels, promotes insulin resistance, and creates more of those small, dense, dangerous LDL particles. India's diabetic epidemic, the highest in the world, is not driven by Desi ghee. It is driven by a diet which is increasingly dominated by refined carbohydrates, packaged foods, and sugar, combined with increasingly sedentary lifestyles. And add insulin resistance to that, chronically high blood sugar is the single most powerful driver of arterial disease I see in Indian patients every single day. So here's the straight answer. As a vascular surgeon who opens blocked arteries from the carotid in your neck to the tibial arteries in your feet, what actually clogs your arteries? Number 1, chronic high blood sugar and insulin resistance. This damages your artery walls from inside and leads to inflammation, which is the starting point for developing atherosclerosis. Number 2 is uncontrolled blood pressure. If there is persistent high blood pressure, It's a physical, mechanical assault on your endothelium. It can also accelerate plaque formation in every major artery in your body. Number 3 I see is smoking. Every single cigarette you smoke is a direct chemical attack on your artery walls. Number 4 is high LDL, especially the small dense type. Number 4 is high LDL, specifically the small dense oxidized type, which damages arteries more and causes chronic inflammation. And number 5 is a sedentary lifestyle with abdominal obesity, chronic stress and poor sleep. All of this will sustain the inflammatory state that makes your plaque grow. But do you notice what is not on the list? 2 teaspoons of Desi ghee in a person who is otherwise metabolically healthy. So the debate was never really about ghee versus oil. It was always about metabolic health. You may take a screenshot of this or a photo of your screen. What causes real artery damage? Uncontrolled blood sugar, diabetes, unmanaged high blood pressure, smoking, oxidized cooking oils, diet high in refined carbohydrates and sugar, physical inactivity and abdominal obesity. इसका स्क्रीनशॉट लो और आपके फैमिली ग्रुप में जरूर शेयर करो. Because fixing even 2 or 3 items on this list will do more for your artery health than worrying about ghee versus oil for the next 10 years. So my final verdict is that ghee in moderate quantities for a metabolically healthy Indian is not life-threatening. It has been portrayed as a villain for quite some time. But the science shows that refined oils may actually cause more harm than small quantities of ghee. And before we end the video, I'll give you some exact action plan which you can follow. No confusion, just clear, real steps. If you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, then this is your absolute priority. For cooking, use ghee or cold pressed oils for the high heat cooking. Never reuse oil. Avoid repeatedly heated refined oils. Cut your refined carbohydrates and sugar, the maida, the biscuits and namkeens that you have, the sugary drinks, they are much more harmful to you than any fat. Get the tests done if you haven't done them recently. HbA1c, a fasting lipid profile, blood pressure, HSCRP. And if you have any pain in your legs while walking, cold feet or other signs of arterial blockages in your leg, do make sure to watch this video.